What's up, boys? Alright, we back again, bro, with another reaction video, bro. It's weird for me looking up at the camera because that's where the angle I have y'all boys at. Let me know if I should change it or whatever. But today we're really reacting to Sam Sulek's IFBB Pro grocery trip. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to the grocery store or whatever, bro. And we're just seeing if it's tough or not. I'll let y'all know my opinion on it if it's tough or if I think I need to write it down because y'all know I'm on prep right now as we speak for my show on November 22nd. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna see if there's any tips that he has for me that I can use or for y'all boys to use, or anything that he gets are just low key just trash. You know what I'm saying? I'll be honest with y'all boys. This is my other account. I don't usually use the my Rayvon Jiggets account or whatever to watch videos, but I post on it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have everyone that I usually watch subscribed on here, so I have to subscribe and stuff of that nature. But let's see, boys.
Meet the Alyssa Court Sectional. This
It's an
modular
ad.
sectional
It's
features
an ad.
washable, high-performance fabric,
But let's see,
and deep
boys.
cushion.
Dang, he updated it, bro. It hasn't been that long since I watched the Sam Sulek video. I didn't even see he updated it. Cause I remember it used to not be a TV screen here. It used to just be the straight up him flexing. But that's definitely so original that he does stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I never saw people do that when he first started.
Yeah, it's been a while. Haven't
Do
really
y'all
brought
boys
you
want a
guys
grocery
into
trip
the
of me?
store for well, it's been freaking months.
Bro, he's looking old, bro. We could be honest here. He definitely is looking old. Like that's okay. I'm not gonna say that's wrong that he's looking old, but I don't think Sam's very old. Like, okay, let's see. Sulek's 23. Will we give him 23 here? I would.
But
He's
yes,
looking a nice
haven't
27
had
years
to
old. We'll be
really
honest.
stock up on anything, at least as much as I have been. Kind of just because I wanted this bulk to be a little smoother, right? A little
Okay.
more gradual. I don't need to start off with 5,000 calories off the rip. Because, I mean, what am I supposed to do, right? If I just came from a dieting phase and I've been eating 2,000, 2,500 calories on average, what does that mean? That means that 2,000 calories is my regular intake, right?
He's smart with it, chat. I learned so much from Sam, honestly, bro. Like one guy who knows about what he's talking about with the gym and what to do, bro. It's Sam, bro. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't really have much background. Like what he says, like I learned stuff about the gym by like doing this and this and this and this. You get what I'm saying? But like every time he says what he's saying, it always makes sense. Like even with his calories, his intake, everything. We know that he self coached himself also. Like he did his whole prep himself. He did his entire depletion phase. Did his entire carb up everything for his show 2 times and won both. So that shows he knows a lot about the gym that most people don't really know. Even people like me doesn't know. You know what I'm saying? Because myself, I have a coach or I'm getting a coach for this prep or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? But he was able to do it all by himself.
That's as much gas as I need to fill my tank for, a week, 2 weeks, whatever. Just as like an analogy. So if I want to start gaining weight, I just have to eat a little more. I don't have to jump from 2,000 to
That's
4,000.
smart,
It
Chad.
just doesn't make any sense. You'd kind of start spilling over, as it were, and not in a good way. I'm not talking like, oh, I'm getting so full. No, if I went from instant 5,000 from 2,000, I would see a substantial weight gain.
He would have gained 15 pounds like that, and most of it would be water and glycogen because he hasn't been eating that much. The actual weight, the actual pounds he would put on is probably 2 or 3. It wouldn't be like wouldn't be like an insane amount. But the fact that he's going slow, you know what I'm saying, is making sure that he puts on actual weight, actual muscle, and not just loading up on food and loading up on water. Watch, she gonna say that.
Like pretty quick, but it wouldn't be good weight, because
Y'all
that's
listen?
far too much of a deficit than what's actually even necessary, because if I go from, I mean, just imagine it, right? Imagine 2,000 extra calories, totally unnecessary, apart from,
I
maybe
like the angle here,
3,000
Chad.
I
The
might
angle
really
is nice.
utilize for workout recovery, hypertrophy, everything else. It's like there's a sweet spot of a calorie surplus, right? This is maintenance. This is a little higher, right? And this is kind of the green zone
I'm learning
where
too.
you eat enough, you're growing, you're recovering, you're getting bigger and stronger. but you're not getting too soft, you know. So the bigger that this surplus becomes, you'll reach a point where it's unnecessarily big, and instead of actually just, you know, putting on more size, you start just putting on more fat, you know. And I've seen it
Exactly. See.
a few too many times, but it's just taken a bulk to an unnecessary level, you know. I mean,
Cause old Sam Sulek, bro, he would freaking eat 5,000, 6,000 calories. But over his time, like even like on his in his career, fitness, bodybuilding type of thing, you know what I'm saying? He's getting smarter, chat. He's learning. You know what I'm saying? He's learning to be more smart with what he's eating, not just a gallon of milk a day.
I can kind of see the appeal if you're like more of a power lifter character, you're aiming for like just pure strength performance output. Body fat would be no concern. Let's say you're like you're a guy who could not give two shits about his weight class. But if you're a little more just regular lifter oriented, you know, you're concerned with staying at like a reasonable body fat, then you know you kind of want to stay in the green where you're eating enough, but you're not eating so much that you're just packing on fat for no reason. But usually that's not even a problem. You know, I think most guys struggle with even getting enough food in to grow in the first place.
That is real.
So, you know, I'd say 90% of the time, keep eating. And then for the 10% of the guys who are doing a little too much, maybe your ratio of meals to treats is a little off, then you got to chill out, right? But at least make sure that the scale is changing in the direction that you want to go.
The scale is your best friend, chat. People sit there and they'll be scared of the scale, scared of the number, saying it's just a number, or oh, I just want to like what I see in the mirror, bro. The scale is the one thing that you can see the real progress. You put on 1 pound next day, you know what you got to change the next day for it to be a consistent thing. Like I weigh myself one time at nighttime, one time in the morning, and probably after my first meal again. Like I'm always constantly weighing myself to see how my body reacting to the food I'm eating. And if I know, oh, the next day after I'm fasting, everything went to sleep and woke up and I'm up a pound from yesterday because I'm cutting right now for this prep, I'm like, oh yeah, most definitely. It's either water because my sodium was too high or whatever. Cause I changed something, it's either pretty much just water or I went over my calories. You know what I'm saying? If I'm sitting there dialed in and I did everything correctly, nothing changed. On the scale, it goes down every time. It's science. And if it went up and I checked, I said, oh, shoot, I did eat too much sodium. That's why. It's water weight. You know what I'm saying? It's just science. It really is. It's the most simple thing you could have. So I'm talking a lot. I gotta chill. I gotta chill. My bad, chat.
But for me, now that I want the scale to, you know, keep increasing, I've kind of approached a little more of a chill kind of well, not diet in general. Like I'm still kind of eating very similar to what I have been before, but in just a simpler manner, you know, because if I sit here just grinding a bunch of just like kind of junkish, more sugary processed kind of foods, things with, I mean, it's almost like you're following a rule. The less ingredients in a meal, the better. Because I mean, it's not like it hasn't worked, right? I'm still walking around like 265, 270,
Yes,
but
you.
with that much food, I mean, just you're kind of forced to cut down to the bare essentials. So it's just easier to keep eating. So actually, I was about to say cut and then jump to, you know, whatever I was going to grab first. But looks like we made it right to the rice. Now,
Rice is an
I think
essential,
these
chat.
microwavable rice packets are sweet just because
Okay.
they're,
I
you
use
know,
a rice
quick,
cooker, chat, but I
instant,
might need to get
30,
this.
or I guess, you know, a few minutes in the microwave. And I just like them. But
Low key, I
you
might
know,
invest in this instead of rice
these are
cooker. My
pretty
rice cooker
solid.
low key sucks. It
I
keeps
always
burning
end
my
up getting
rice.
the, you know, kind of a more flavored version. I like these. These are good. But only four. And then the rest of my rice intake, I've been leaning towards a little more stuff like
Oh yeah,
this.
that's what I have. I have this, but I
I'm
use the
talking
rice
a
cooker though,
box
Chad.
of any kind of instant rice. I'm
Simple.
not
But I like potatoes though.
a
Instead of
rice
rice, I'll be
cooker
having potatoes.
utilizer
I
just yet.
chop
I
it
do
up
need to kind of bust that
into
out.
some fries,
But
air fryer.
the
Fries, so
instant rice
tough.
has worked pretty freaking well. I'm talking way out, you know, 200-ish grams dry, maybe more like 150 actually. Pour in just enough water that there's maybe like,
Oh, he wait.
eh, I
That might be why I be slacking sometimes, Chad. I never weigh out my food. I mean, I never weigh out my rice beforehand. I cook it and then I weigh it out.
I don't really measure that perfectly. I just kind of have a gist of how much I need, but I add just enough where I can tell the rice is definitely floating around in the water, but it's not so watery that it won't all kind of absorb. You know, maybe look up how much water for how many grams of rice. 5 minutes in the microwave, ends up perfect. So that is instantly mixable with a certain browned pan-fried meat. So I think we gotta head over to that next.
We're gonna see. We're gonna guess.
All right, I lied.
I'm guessing freaking
So
shoot, I add Chad. I add. I'm guessing freaking ground turkey, 95.5. You know what I'm saying? 95.5. Not ground turkey. Ground turkey sucks. Ground beef, 95.5. Some chicken breasts, some steaks. That's probably all you need. Ground turkey you could get too, but I don't like how ground turkey tastes. I'll be honest. I just don't like it. It's too lean. And it's not enough.
dieting
Like it's not
centric,
worth
if
the
I don't want to
leanness.
just
Like
make
I'd rather
this
just
trip
have a freaking
for my
I'd rather
fellow
just have
my
ground
fellow
chicken
Vulcan
breast because it's so much
lifters.
better. Okay,
I'm a
those are
big fan
tough.
of this, right? I'm talking high fiber tortillas. You know, there's a whole freaking wall of them.
That's insane.
Try out a few, see what really works. I will say
Oh,
with
he's
all
probably gonna
of
get some
the,
freaking
you know, there's kind of a
tuna
debate
and what else?
because
What other
if
things?
you're,
Tilapia.
you know,
Those
a
are so
carb
tough. Like that's top two.
centric tortilla brand like this, obviously you're going to want to make it seem like it's got the most fiber and the lowest calories possible. So, you know, take that into account. There is like a 25% ratio of leeway that all
Okay.
these kind of food products have, where, you know, it's not like everything is perfectly 70 grams per tortilla, right? So they get some leeway when they write it onto these labels. But, you know, if something's a little too good to be true, it may be, you know, better off to kind of assume so. There's
You're not
so I
lying.
was a freaking, I don't know how many gallons I consumed over the course of my few dieting phases of a Carb Master chocolate milk, but I swear
Told y'all boys. Told y'all boys.
every time I started to drink it, it took me a little while to kind of realize, but if I really had like a couple of cups in a day, and like this is supposed to be like a macro friendly ass treat, you know, because it had 8 grams of protein, 5 of carbs, 2 of fats, like in a cup, and that's pretty decent. A regular thing of chocolate milk is like double, maybe even triple that calorie. Definitely almost quadruple that fat value. But as soon as I start drinking a ton of it, I could tell that my sort of progression of weight loss was beginning to slow. You know, so I think that was probably the most blatant example of either just lying or exaggeration of the calories.
They do be getting you, chat. Cause one time, bro. Well, I keep talking, boys. I keep talking, but y'all boys here, bro. Literally, bro. Every time I had these green teas, 0 calorie green teas, bro. 0 calorie, right? So at the end of the day, like you can drink as much of them as you want, bro. I drink like 3 or 4 in a day. I'll be honest, bro. Every meal, I might have 2 waters and just that. I'll keep it a buck, bro. I weigh myself next day, 5 pounds up, and I'm like, ain't no way. This is just water weight. For 3 days or 3 4 days, I was sitting there up 4 to 5 pounds because my body couldn't process it. Like it was too much. I don't even want to say it was sodium or whatever, bro. But like it just held onto my body so much. So now I don't drink that. I drink water.
Calorie values.
So let
But
me check that
yeah,
it's
if you're trying to
recording.
peel down,
Yeah, we're good, chat.
anytime you see like a calorie smart version of something, that might be your ticket, right? Swap a Coke with a Coke Zero. Swap a, I can't think of another swap, but you know, you get the gist. But let's go grab some ground beef.
Told you, ground
All
beef,
right, I lied.
95.5.
Another quick stop. For a while, there was like a freaking egg crisis going on, and I think it's just going on all the time. Like, you know, $5 a dozen, totally nuts.
One thing I realized is eggs are not even that tough. They're definitely overhyped. Egg whites are tough, but just eggs as a whole, you can't eat a lot of eggs and get a lot of protein out of it with the calorie ratio. Like it just doesn't work that way. You can eat 5 6 eggs in your breakfast and look at your calories and look at your calories and your protein. You'll be decent, but it's not as hyped up as they make it. But if you sit there have 2 3 eggs and then have the rest with a lot of egg whites, then you're OD. Then you're sitting there looking nice.
But
So
I
it's
think the
egg
real
whites,
hack, if you're
not
trying to
eggs,
actually, you
that
know,
are
leverage at
tough.
least egg whites for your protein intake,
See,
is going to be getting it in carton form. I mean, once it's cooked, you'd really have no freaking idea. Plus, it's just way easier. Because now instead of sitting here cracking eggs into a pan, all you got to do is pour out your 2 jugs, or weigh it out, measure it, whatever, and you're totally good. It's that's something I'm still kind of concerned about. I've been like trying to look into, I guess I haven't really been looking, but if there's any food scientists in the chat, I would be very concerned what your take is on pasteurized versus non-pasteurized egg whites digestibility. Because I've got no problem drinking 50 grams of protein worth of egg whites.
I'm gonna not pause.
I used to do it a ton.
So
but I got
freaking
turned off from
one
it 'cause
thing
it's like
I learned that
the
people keep saying is like
bioavailability of protein
people
in an
drink egg
uncooked
whites
white
because they don't taste like
is
anything
like
in a stupid amount of
50%.
like a stupid
So
good
what am I
amount of
supposed to do?
protein,
Try to
right?
double the
It's like a protein
so I
shake,
can only
but better
absorb
for
half
you
of
because
it?
it's egg whites.
It just kind of
But the
sucks.
thing is,
And if
people
you're
say, "Oh,
really
it
deep
doesn't
into
even
an
work
off
because you
season,
can't
you're trying
digest
to
it that
just
fast."
scarf eggs down.
So like I don't know
It's not
what's
the
true
most
and what's
enjoyable
not.
meal you can put together. So that's but if the consensus was that the pasteurized versions was fully digestible, then I'll end up switching to drinking some. But either way, that takes us now perfectly to the oatmeal aisle.
Oh, okay. You
I
get
really
oatmeal
should have
pop
got
with
cream of
a
wheat,
scoop of protein in
but I've
there.
just been kind of lazy. It's a little trickier to prep. Whereas things like, I mean, just kind of, I probably only like it because this is all I'm used to having. But Quaker oats have really been doing the trick for me. I'm a bit more of a fruit flavored kind of fan, but I'm not finding the variety. Here we go.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do this. You put protein
Something
powder
like
in it though?
this. Each packet individually, 25 grams of carbs ish.
So it's
And
nice
here's
carbs.
one hack that
Okay.
I guess this, I don't know, I wasn't really bulking at the time, so the meals weren't as important. But my thing in high school was I'd always have 2 shaker cups with me to drink between breakfast and lunch, because that's like a 6-hour gap of no meals, and but after lunch, but before leaving school. And each shaker was 2 scoops of protein, so 50 grams, and then 2 dried packets of one of the oatmeal flavors, usually strawberry, because the strawberry chocolate
It
actually
might
makes
taste
sense.
better.
And if you leave it in your bag totally dry, just get it wet whenever it's necessary. I guess you could bring up whether or not you really have to get the oats boiled to totally absorb them, but as far as I can tell, it worked out pretty well. And that's a little more of a tip for somebody who needs more intake and they're kind of struggling with getting it in. Because I mean, if you're only limiting yourself to meals in the kitchen when you're at home, and you're not one to like pack a really big beefy lunch, you're setting yourself up for failure, because if you're gone, I mean, this is kind of my rule of thumb, like especially when I would do like city work in the summer, when I was going to school, where I'd be like gone for, I always scheduled it so I'd have like just 2 super busy days of the week, Monday and Wednesday, where I had like class from 8 to 4, and like I'd be totally gone from the apartment at school, so I had to kind of pack meals with me. But if you've got more
One thing
than
I
like a
did learn is you
3-hour
eat more
time
meals
frame
than just
that you're going
eating
to be
just big
away
meals.
from
Like
any
rather have 5 to
readily
6
available
smaller meals than
meal,
just
be
2
it like
big
a cafeteria
ginormous
or whatever,
meals. It just
then
you
I
ain't gonna get
think
through it
that's your cue if you're actually serious about
unless
getting
you're just an
into
eater,
at
bro.
least making sure your intake is solid. You got to get that scheduled. Either meal prep. There's a few companies that like I'm not going to name drop them, but I don't know. It's not so tricky to make a meal, but I do see the appeal. I've tried a few of them before. I don't mind it, but that's where I think shakes come into play pretty well.
Them companies be scamming y'all, chat, bro. Like I know people who be having like companies. I'm not gonna say no names before I like when I blow up and they trying to sponsor me. But a lot of them they'll sit there and they'll give you meals and the quality of it don't even be nice. Like you'll get like 30 grams of protein, 600 calories per meal. Like that's for a girl. Like for a girl, okay, maybe that's good. Or for like a working mom or someone that's trying to just diet down a little bit, that's good. But if you're trying to be a bodybuilder or anything, bro, you're not getting no grams of protein in, bro. It's
I've
just
kind of been
not
chilling on
tough.
my whey intake,
In my opinion. There's ones out there
but
that are good.
I've been looking
But the
into,
ones
I've been
I've
hearing a lot about
seen or
beef
I've seen people who
protein. I
use,
think that would do
they're
me
not
well.
it.
I think the dairy has, I mean, I can handle it. I'm still going to slam some Ben and Jerry's, but I think the dairy doesn't love me, or the other way around. But either
Slam
way,
some
now we can
Ben
actually
and
make it back
Jerry's.
to the
Come
ground
on,
beef.
Sam.
All right. I'm usually a fan of some of the deli turkey, easy sandwich.
Turkey
But the
does have
fact that it's
protein
kind of
in it.
just
I never knew that
turkey
until I tried it out.
scraps made into this amalgam, it's turned me off, where I haven't really been getting the deli turkey as much. That's where if you've got a Costco membership, or I don't, but my parents still do. So sometimes I'll kind of, mooch off of them. But I'll tell them to get like a full-on 6 pound. Actually, I think it's almost like 10 pounds sometimes. Just fully cooked turkey breast, vacuum sealed. And then, I mean, it looks like a freaking loaf of bread in your fridge if you take it out of the vacuum seal and put it in like a Ziploc or something. But easiest thing in the world, and you start to get a feel for it too, because I mean, it's like a
Same old phone?
Chicken
Nah.
breasts are tough,
Upgrade
chat.
to the
Like,
new Galaxy
I
Z
definitely
Fold
just eat
7.
straight chicken breasts and rice.
That's it?
Or chicken breasts and potatoes.
So fast.
Like the cut up potato. And
I don't know what it's
tilapia
called.
and
It's like this game show where the
tuna.
guy has to cut
I need to
a
eat
pretzel
vegetables, chat. I'll
perfectly
be
in
honest.
half, and then they weigh
Let's
the
see
two
if Sam
sides.
picks up some
Like, I
vegetables,
think I
or
would
I'm
do
just the
very
only one that
well
does it.
if they recreated that, but with a big ass turkey breast, and they said $1 million, cut exactly 8 ounces in one slice. Because the same with counting your calories, the more you do it, it just becomes a certain kind of second nature. You know what I'm saying?
You are.
It's like a musician.
I think if
knows
they
his
gave me
string is out of
a
tune.
chicken breast, bro, and they said cut out 8 ounces, that would be hard because you don't know. Like, I think I would get
Even if
close.
only slightly, because he's so used to hearing it. So if you're used to weighing all your foods, rice, protein, ground beef, everything, then you can kind of look at a meal, even without somebody telling you, and just by kind of feeling and taste and like how greasy is this or just whatever.
You can know the
And
calorie
you can
exactly.
get, I mean,
You
I
can
would
know
like
if
to
you're
think I'd
going
be
to
pretty
eat.
good at it, but I could confidently say that I'd be within probably a 30% error rate of guessing the macros of any given meal. And sure, that
That's
might sound
right.
kind of rough, like 30% over, 30% under, whatever. But compared to not tracking anything at all, you're way ahead of the freaking curve. But I think I finally freaking made it. So I lean a little leaner with the ground beef,
95.5.
probably closer to, I'd love to see 98%. That's
98?
usually a little more rare, but 96 works perfectly well too.
96. I need to.
So,
Let's see if
ooh.
I gotta go convince my
The
mom
thing
to
that
get that.
sucks
Chat.
is with the
'Cause Sam does
96%,
it, I
they
gotta
don't
do
make
it.
like a big, like 4 pound pack. They only come in 1 pound increments. But things like this, since it's
You're not
just
getting
gonna
much
be
of it,
plain
though.
anyway, like I'm not the kind of guy to like make muscle burgers or like little individual patties or anything. This is just gonna be 5 pounds all at once into a stove pot, stirred, cooked on low until it's all, totally cooked through. And then I can strain that and I can have, 5, I think 6 pounds is the most I've ever done at once. 6 is a little crazy, but by having it fully,
Oh, now
just
he's
cooked and
getting a
prepped,
lot. Now he's
sitting
getting
in
a
the
lot.
fridge, it's ready. As much as I'm not walking around with like Tupperware meals, I do always try to make sure I have at least the basic components of what my meals are going to be for the day.
Same here, Chad. Like, people say, oh, meal prep. Like, meal prep is good and stuff like that, but like, low key, it's easier just to make the food and just have it in there. Like, I'll make chicken breast. I'll make six at a time, and I'll make some rice. I'll make like a pot of rice at a time. Eat on that for the entire week. You're done. I mean, of course, meal prepping is good, but like, you might
Totally
as well do
prepped,
that.
or at
If you
least
can't
one step
be
away.
disciplined enough to
The
not
instant
eat some
oatmeal,
food, bro,
that's just
chat,
pouring some boiling water out
after
of
you
the
already
kettle.
have it made and you need it to
Done.
be made
Ground
in the
beef,
meal already, and you
cooked,
struggle
left in
with
the
that, my
fridge.
boy, you
All
got
you
some
gotta do
other
is
things to
scoop it
worry
out,
about.
right? Things like that. So the less friction that you can have from the thought, I need to get a meal in, to the action of eating a meal, the better. Because the longer something would take, the more it's going to be a chore, and then subconsciously you're not even going to do it. And before you know it, you said you were bulking. It's been 3 months. You weigh the exact same. I'm not going to say you made no progress, because lifting consistently, that's something. Right? I'm not saying that's nothing. But if you could have made more gains and you didn't,
That's on you,
that
my
kind of
boy.
makes me think, like, if that time wasn't wasted, what was it? So that's where I would most certainly look back at any off season, and if I made like negligible size difference from beginning to end, if I started the bulk at 230 and ended it 6 months later at 235, not substantially bigger, just with like some more body fat, it's like, what did I do? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So these are the things that They're not as flashy, right? A set of 3-plate bench is way cooler than coming to the grocery store, putting together a bunch of ground beef and, you know, whatever, and prepping it and everything else like that. But this is the kind of behind the scenes.
Let's see
You
if
know,
Sam
this
grabs
is
some
the
vegetables,
guy
bro.
who is sitting at his desk all day.
I bet he isn't.
Looking
I bet
up
he isn't, Chad. Because
different
I don't.
rubber polymers.
Like realistically, bro, if you look at your
because of
diet,
their
bro,
frictional strength
you
or
don't really
whatever.
realistically
And
need
down
vegetables.
down the road,
Like
that
you
results
don't.
in,
Like
a
if you,
freaking F1
especially on
car
prep. Like I mean, my
getting
coach hasn't
an extra
implemented
3
it yet. Like
seconds on
I'm getting the coach.
whatever
I'm
kind
paying
of
for it and
track.
all of that or
You
whatever.
know,
Then
so
you
it's
go
like
tell
it
me what I
might
need to
seem
eat
like a small
cleaner
thing now,
that I'm already doing.
but
Like what I'm doing
it will
wrong or whatever, Chad.
scale
But like I
to
don't think he's
become
going
larger.
to say, "Oh, you
But I
have
mean,
to eat
yeah, shit.
vegetables." It's just more of a
No
freaking. It's
Krispy
like more
no
fiber, I guess,
Krispy
in your
Kreme even on this
your
one.
diet
I
and
yeah,
more
we'll have a quicker
calories.
trip. I mean, this is yeah. I guess
Like if you're bulking, maybe okay, get you some vegetables in
I
there, but
haven't really
like
taken a look at it. I feel like
it's not an
my
essential. I
grocery
don't
carts
think.
used to be a
Like
little
carbs,
bit
you need
more
carbs for
full
your
than this.
muscles to fill up with
One thing I will
water
do is go
for
back and
energy.
get another half-gallon of
Protein you
milk.
needed to keep the muscle and
But
restore the
yeah,
muscle.
man. I mean,
I'm
nothing
still
crazy
learning, Chad.
flashy.
So if y'all boys
You know,
know what
it's more
vegetables
so
realistically do for
a
you,
concern
except for
of
nutrients,
like
let me
just
know.
making sure you at least get close to a certain caloric value, obviously macros included, to whatever is necessary for your current goals. You know, so I'm talking, and this could be a whole kind of like lecture style video in and of itself, but just to put it simply, like, you know, go on Google, look up maintenance calorie calculator. It'll ask you to, I mean, the first website, doesn't matter. It'll ask you to plug in your height,
Right.
weight, body fat, how much you work out, all, you know, everything else about you. And it'll pump out a number, and the number will be like close-ish. You know, if I write down, okay, I'm 5'11", I'm 23, I'm a guy, I weigh 260, I'm like 12% body fat, I work out every day, it's going to give me a number, like a macro sort of estimate of what I should be eating to maintain my weight, lose body fat, or gain weight, right? Now, I'm definitely going to kind of adjust it because usually all these websites will estimate a lower protein intake than you'd probably want.
Your protein, yeah.
So my rule of thumb,
1
as
gram
like
per
if you've
body
never
weight.
gone into macro tracking before, look up that value, right? Any website, it doesn't really matter. Find whatever macronutrients they kind of pump out. Let's say it reads, you know, you're a 200-pound dude, you are 20% body fat, you're 20, you're a guy, you're 5'8", or you're 5'10", whatever.
I can still hear you.
Then I would probably at least adjust it so the protein value is your current lean weight. So I usually just say 250. I don't mind going over a little bit. But if the website said I should be eating 150 grams of protein, I'm going to change it, right? 250, so a gram per however many pounds I weigh,
Exactly.
relatively lean. If a 400-pound dude has like 100 pounds of fat on him, he doesn't need 400 pounds of protein. Cut the fats in half. So in an off season, I'm doing 250 grams of protein, 120 grams of fat is usually my max intake, and then eat as many carbs as it says, you know, but that's just an estimate. That's just, you know, that computer doesn't know you. It doesn't know how much you're fidgeting. It doesn't know how many steps you're getting per day.
Right.
So that's an estimate to start off of, right? But that's phase one. And then if you really want to get a little more in tuned with your weight gain up or down, then you got to do phase two. Weigh yourself every morning after the bathroom, clothesless,
Exactly.
right? I'm talking buck naked.
Why
You can
is
actually
it
get a
like
real
that?
value of your morning weight, and that's the most consistent time to weigh yourself. You know, if you weigh yourself midday, what if you drank 2 liters of water already? I mean, what are we talking about? It's like an extra 5 pounds.
He ain't lying
So
to you.
by weighing yourself every morning like that and tracking your calories, everything else, making sure you're on track, then that should show you, okay, am I getting
This all
leaner?
the food he get in, Chad.
Am
This
I
not
staying
much
the same
food.
weight? Am I bulking up? So depending on
For a
which one you're
bulk,
trying to
Chad,
do,
like he ain't getting much
the
food here.
scale,
He
you know,
getting like
after
a
few
little
weeks will
run. Like it
reveal
wasn't like he
if
was
what
sitting there
you're
getting all the
doing
food
is
for real.
working. You know, so if I
I
think
expect him to get a full
I'm
carton
eating
of
in a
food or
calorie
something, bro.
deficit,
Bulk?
you know,
Sam
I'm
Sulek
telling
bulk? I'm thinking he
myself,
get a full
oh
carton.
man, I'm grinding. I'm like starving myself. But after a month, my weight stayed exactly the same. Clearly, I'm not doing enough. Either not
He's
enough
not
cardio
wrong.
or not enough, you know, calorie restriction. So that's where you've got to look at it just objectively. Don't get your feelings hurt. No matter how hard it feels like you're dieting, if that scale isn't changing and you're
You ain't dieting
maintaining
enough.
the same body composition, that's your cue. You got to change something. Add more cardio, add less calories, you know, there's a few different ways to get around it. But as long as the scale's output is representative of what you're trying to do, then you're golden. You know, if you're let's say you're like, I want to stay the same weight, I just want to keep getting stronger. You're staying the same weight, maybe your gym numbers are going up every week, you're golden. You know, but the scale
Sam, why are you in the
absolutely
cookie hour, my
reveals
boy? Why
all,
are you in the
and it
cookie
kind of
hour?
has to be, you know, respected in that sense. You know, that's kind of why there's such a hate for the bathroom scale, at least on like a non-lifter kind of level, because you know that means people have to look at the scale and say, oh crap, I'm 30 pounds heavier than I was 3 months ago or a year ago. And that's not a fun feeling. You know, I would I'm not speaking from experience, but I would certainly imagine, you know, if you're going from like a lean dude and then 5 years passes, you're 60 pounds overweight, you're like, what the hell happened? You know, so that's a situation where, shit, that's just how it is. You gotta take accountability
You
for
gotta
it.
take it on the chin,
If
my
you start
boy.
using a grocery cart that looks a little more like this and, you know, doesn't have so many, you know, random ass treats like are in the aisle that I'm in now, that'll help. You know, just gotta put it out there, put it a little more bluntly. The more you're sweating and the more you're tracking, I'd say you're upping your odds of goal achievement 2-3 times easy. But I'm gonna go get a half gallon of milk.
Bro, the
That's all I
milk,
got,
bro.
man.
Him and this milk.
This
I
has
don't
helped
like
really
milk.
rub on
Milk.
the
It
last
don't
few
taste
months.
nice. I don't like milk. It don't taste nice, bro. We obviously giving it a like, bro. This was solid, bro. It's just I expected
Get
more
ready to
food. Oh
run.
shoot. I expected more food, of course, bro. You know what I'm saying? I thought you gonna really get some food. You know what I'm saying? But I guess it was just low key like a quick run, just a couple of things, stuff like that. He gave us a lot of good information. Nothing wrong that what he said or whatever. It was nothing wrong he said. And it was nice. You know what I'm saying? So I love y'all boys. Like and subscribe. Tell me what the next video I should react to, what y'all want me to do, what videos y'all like seeing, stuff of that nature. November 22nd is the bodybuilding show that I'm competing in, OCB, teen division. I'm not sure on the some of the details I'm doing or whatever. I gotta figure that out. I'm going to be telling y'all boys all the information, literally like me learning how to pose, my diet, stuff like that. Where my coach is telling me everything. I'll start making videos for y'all every single day, just updates. You know what I'm saying? Closer to the show. And then show day, generational, my boys. Generational. So I love y'all boys. God bless. God is good. Ray lifts out. Shoot. Ray lifts out.